Well, good morning, and good to be in the house of the Lord this morning. Thankful to be able to be back. We had a good vacation. Quite a few people asked me if we got a lot of rest, and for those of you got youngins or had youngins when they was little, when you go on vacation with them, you don't get a ton of rest because they want to go, and continuing to go. And but no, we had a good time and thankful for our trip, and but glad to be back home, and glad to say I'm back home, and that's a blessing. We turn the air conditioners off back yonder, and but we are thankful to be back. Like I say, I do want to go to the Lord in a word of prayer this morning before we get started. Excuse me, and then have some announcements to make and stuff. But of course, I am still a little hoarse, but that's just allergies. That's where Brandon and them are at this morning. Brandon texted me and said he was having a little bit of issue with his asthma and stuff, so he was going to be at home trying to breathe. So just be with him. I know he said it's been, a substantial amount of years before he's had this much issue, but this year's been rough on him. So just remember him in prayer. Ask God to touch him. Of course, want to remember our nation and ask God to touch our nation. I'm going to say this. We ain't going to get no discussion about it, and you may agree with me or not agree with me in this statement. But I'm going to be honest. We need to pray that we finally get somebody that'll run for office that's halfway decent. And I'm going to tell you, they ain't both of them. It wasn't. I can see kindergartners that ain't never shared a toy in their life get along better than the two of them did. And if all you can do is back and call each other's names, I'm sorry, you don't need to be in office. I'm just going to be frank. That goes on both sides of the fence. And that's the worst. I didn't get but bits and pieces of it, and glad I didn't watch it all because I'd have been dumber when I'd got done. I'm just going to be frank with you on both sides of it. And we need to pray for our nation. If that's all we're getting, we're in trouble. And we need to pray and ask God to touch and intervene in a mighty way. Send people that will follow God, be more worried about serving Him, be more worried about what God thinks about them than everybody else. And I tell you what, things would be a whole lot better off if that be that way. And but we need to pray for our young people and ask God to touch them. I know we need to pray for Emily. It won't be too much longer. She'll be heading off to college, and so pray for her. I know they're having a little get together kind of thing for her, August something, 3rd, I think. So somewhere in there we'll say more about it when I get more details to make sure I don't mess that up. But sometime in August they're going to be doing a little thing for Emily over here in the fellowship hall for her kind of going away, a little party kind of thing, and just remember that. Of course, remember, what's Brenda and Eddie's last name? The Funtime Inflatable? Stamey, thank you. Eddie Stamey. And if you would remember Eddie Stamey, if ends don't know them, Brenda and Eddie, they do the Funtime Inflatables and stuff. They go to Altapass, but Eddie's having a lot of health issues, some things going on right now. God knows all about it, and just pray that God would touch there, be with Brenda as well, as I'm sure she's nervous being her spouse. And I know she's worried, and that just comes natural. And but pray for them as well. Of course, remember those on our prayer list that are hurting, many on there that are sick, and according to the doctors, just doesn't look good. And but I tell you, I still serve a God that can do whatever He wants to do, and I'm glad I serve one that He made these bodies. He can fix them if He chooses fit. And but I also serve a big enough God. If it be His will to take them on home, that's all right too. And but I tell you, we need to pray and lift each other up. Pray for our lost in our community. Pray for our community. And ask God to truly use us. I tell you, that's been a burden on my heart, is that God would really use Little Rock Creek in this community and change this community upside down. And you say, well, we may not make national news now. And you say, well, can do more with a little church like this than he can with a big one, if the people are willing to serve. And I tell you, I just pray that God would use us in a mighty way. Of course, we want to pray for our missionaries. We will be taking up our special offering for our missionaries this morning, but remember those missionaries in the Philippines and ask God to touch them. Remember all of our churches in our area without pastors as they continue to seek pastors, and pray that God send the right man to them and ask God to lift them up. I've got a special object, a few people, and some things that I know about personally. God knows what it is, and just pray that God would touch and intervene in their lives and the things they're facing. Of course, remember Helen Brooks in our prayers. Ask God to continue to touch there as well. Trying to think of others that have shared